Meat!
And for the trouble.
Look at that. I'm eating this on the way home.
Couple ribs.
This will be my lunch. Thanks
Pleasure,
a lot,
man.
man. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Meat good. Today on In the Woodyard, we've got a wood delivery. It's gonna happen right now. Here we go. It's a beautiful day in the woodyard. It's not raining. It was supposed to rain today and hasn't, so that's good. But I'm gonna quick try to get this wood loaded and delivered before the rain comes because we're supposed to be getting storms coming this afternoon. I'm out in the farm field here. This is the cornfield. And this gets really muddy out here when we get rain. So it's the one issue that you got to kind of fight with is when we get an inch of rain, I try not to come out here. I don't want to get stuck and it makes a mess. So this first order I've got today is for a face cord, third of a cord, a Rickarinka row of oak, white oak that is. Now this is going to a person that I sell on a regular basis. He gets a face cord at a time, third of a cord if you're on the East Coast. And he gets about 2 full cords a year. He has a side business with his buddy and they do events. They do like family reunions, they do weddings, community events, and they go to things like the farm day things they have where you come and pick pumpkins and stuff. They do big events like that where there's a lot of people there. So they get contracted out and they have to supply a certain amount of meat. Now, this is the guy that has the 2 500-gallon smokers. One that they made, one that they bought, totally different looking. Well, they look similar in size, but one is really cool. It's kind of like a steampunk kind of look. They paid thousands of dollars for it, but it's twice as efficient as their old one, he said. It's just amazing. It retains the heat much better. There's not leaks and things like that. So, but they use both of them when they do events. Now they, a lot of times will make hundreds of pounds of brisket, hundreds of pounds of ribs for these events. So when they get going, they need wood, and it's usually a 24-hour process that they use for doing this. Now, their cookers use wood for the heat and wood for the smoke, where some of them will use gas or propane or LP for the heat, and then the smoke is from the wood, so they use a much smaller amount. These guys are doing the whole deal. Now, it's a low-temp cook, so they don't need a big roaring fire. They want it to be a slow burn, because it's like a 24-hour thing that they do. And they say white oak is their best. That's what they've used different things and they like white oak. And I've tried telling them, hey, you should try some hickory. He said, oh, we tried that. We like the white oak better. And I said, well, we've got cherry. Yeah, that burns faster. We want the white oak. And I said, well, I've also got beech. Yeah, we like the white oak. And I say, you could try red oak. It's very similar. He said, yeah, we like the white oak. So white oak it is. Now, this wood back here was processed last winter, early winter. The first part of it that you see right behind over here. So that is dry. I've tested it. It's 17, 18%, 19%. But then if you look down a little bit, there's some lighter colored stuff. That was processed just a couple months ago. And that's not dry enough yet. That's in the low 20s. So it'll get there soon. Out here in the field where there's sun, wind sun whenever it's sunny, but wind all the time, the wood is drying fantastic. My drying times here on the farm are half of what it used to be in my old wood yard because there's no trees, and when the sun is out it gets sun. It's just amazing how fast stuff dries. Plus all of my wood now is on pallets in these bins, loose, so it dries very fast. It's incredible how fast wood is drying here. Now I've got a bunch of wood up by the barn. There's a bunch of hickory and cherry that I did, 2 big piles. There's probably 3 cords of each in there. I've tested that. It's dry. The cherry has only been there for a month or 2. And I tested it and it's like 20, 21%. So it's pretty much ready to go. But I got a bunch of cherry that's older that I'll sell first. And then the hickory, I tested that and that's in the low 20s. It's 23, 24. So within a matter of a month or 2, it's going to be dry too. So drying conditions here are awesome. That is south. The wood gets the south sun, all day long, coming up in the east, all the way to the west as the sun goes across the sky. So the wood dries fantastic here. So if you're drying your wood in an area where there's no wind and no sun, and you're in an area like, say, you're underneath pine trees or on the edge of a woods where you don't get that airflow, you're missing out on your best drying. You should have your wood out in the open. I know my dad had wood on his property that my brothers and I cut. Some of it was in the woods that we cut right where the trees were. We stacked it right there. And then he had a bunch of wood that was out in a field that was on stringers in the open with no trees around, in the open, sun hitting it, wind on it all the time, it dried twice as fast. And he had boiler size with the big stuff, so it makes a big difference where you put your wood. So just saying, think about where you're going to put your wood. So I'm going to load up this face cord, third of a cord Ricka row into the trailer, and we're going to go do a delivery right now. So there it is. The wood is in. One face cord of Ricka row. Now, one of the things I thought of while I was chucking wood in that comes up in the comments quite often, especially people that are new to the channel, generally it's people that heat with wood that have, what would I say, objections, questions, thoughts. They have problems with understanding wood because they've done things the same way their whole life, and that's fine. Now, this is the size wood that most of my customers want right here, this size. So like this one right here is like, this is like ideal. Stuff like this. This is the size they want because, number one, they can pick it up with one hand, stack it nicely. They can pick it up with one hand, put it into the fireplace, put it into the fire pit. Most of the people I sell to are not heating with wood. And especially the people that I'm selling to, like this wood that's going for smoking of meat, they don't want a great big huge 50-pound chunk that's going to sit there and not really do anything. They want it so they can add a little bit at a time. Every hour or two, put a piece in just to keep the fire going. Most of my customers burn for fun. They burn to enjoy the fire. They want to see flames. And if you put in a piece that, say, you add all these up together and then you double it so you got a 30-pound piece, that's not that much fun for them. They don't want to just put a big chunk in there that just sits there and doesn't do anything for a while. Yeah, it's going to burn for a long time because it's not burning very well. They want to see flames. They want to enjoy the fire. Another big benefit to stuff that's this size is that it dries much faster, especially if you get these thinner ones like this here. I call these like the shingles, like if you had cedar shakes. This stuff, 1.5 inches wide maybe, it dries way faster. But then a lot of people say, well, yeah, but it burns faster. Well, tell me this. If I was to take all 3 of these and keep it this size, not split down, how much heat would this chunk produce versus these 3 chunks? You know how much? Exactly the same amount. It's the same amount of wood, whether it's big or small. But they say, oh, but it'll burn fast. Well, that's because when you got pieces like this, you can crisscross them and you can get space between the wood so that it can breathe, so that it gets oxygen, because it takes 3 things to make a fire. It takes an ignition source, fuel, and oxygen. 3 things, that's it. So deprive it of oxygen. Stack it in tighter. Close down your damper. Don't give it as much air. It'll burn just as long as a big chunk. And a lot of people would say, well, yeah, but I can put in those big 30, 40 pounders, those full rounds that are 50 pounds, and it'll be there in the morning still burning. That's because most of the time when you put those into your fireplace or your furnace or your wood boiler, that wood is not dry inside, it's wet. So it's burning much less efficiently. You're actually losing heat up the chimney, but yeah, it lasts a long time because it's not burning very well. It's not burning properly. Dry wood is the best wood, period. That's what you want. And that's what my customers want. Good, dry wood that'll burn today, not a year from now, not a month, not 3 years from now. And when my dad was burning with wood, he had big chunks. He had the big all-nighters because his stove could fit 2 pieces end to end depth-wise and then 2 or 3 pieces above. So he could get like 6, 7 pieces in of big chunks, 30 pounders. He could fill it up and it would be there. But his wood was drying for years, 3 to 4 years in advance. So he never did a moisture test. He just knew that he had 3, 4, 5 years ahead and he would always burn the oldest wood. It was dry. So if you got big chunks, you better be drying it for a year at least, maybe 2, because it's not dry inside. And if it's not dry inside, it's not burning efficiently. I've talked to several people that sell and install wood boilers, and they say the #1 problem they have is people that think they can burn anything and do. And they burn wood that's not even dry. And then they wonder why they have problems with it because they don't clean them out. They think, oh, it'll burn anything. And they just put it in there. They don't realize they're losing a lot of the heat right up the chimney. If you see the wood boiler going and there's smoke rolling out of it all the time, white smoke, it's because it's burning off the moisture. You're losing heat up the chimney because it has to burn off that moisture. Okay, I'll quit my rant now. We're gonna go deliver some wood. This stuff is going back in the bin. Yeah. Oh, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, just like Meatloaf says. Here we go. Okay, so we just stacked the wood, you saw that. We pulled out the old stuff so that we're not burying old stock, so we're rotating stock. I recommended that, and I do that to a lot of my customers. I'll say, hey, let's bring out the old stuff, burn that first, because it's old. There's no sense just burying it over and over and over. But for those of you that think I don't know what I'm doing when I put wood in, as far as quantity, because that's just a guess. But I know kind of what I need. It's got to be to the top of the metal on the trailer, and I just throw a little extra in. But this is an 8-foot rack, and 4 feet is right here. So everything above this line right here was extra wood. So got a couple extra armfuls, and everybody's happy. I'm happy, save time. John's happy, he got extra wood. Ooh, meat!
And for the trouble.
Look at that, I'm eating this on the way home.
Couple ribs.
This will be my lunch. Thanks
Pleasure,
a lot,
man.
man. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
So for those of you that haven't seen this before, I'm still on the parking lot of John's place here. This is their new smoker, their big, fancy, schmancy, cool looking one. Here's the firebox right here. So it's kind of off the end. Here's the old one. Like I said, their new one is twice as efficient as the old one. But pretty cool. Like I said, they got an event coming up this weekend, and they've got to use both of them to make a big batch. So both 500 gallons, I believe, from what I remember. But this is one that they built, and then this is the one that they bought. And for the brand name on this, a lot of people wanted to know. There it is. There it is. Primitive Pits. That's who made this one. It's somewhere down south they had it made, but apparently it's a really good one. So there you go. Okay, I'm gonna go eat some meat. So I just got back into the wood yard, disconnected the trailer, and I have one more project to do, probably the most important project I'm gonna be doing all day. I'm not gonna share. Okay, I'll give you a bite. Here, try it. I like it. Fantastic. I'd give you some, but you're not here, so maybe next time. That's really good. That's all I got for today, folks. I got to eat the rest of these. My lunch. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene. Want a rib? Meat, good. I'll get the lunch.